Podcast with Tek and Prem.
The ball is spotted. The kick is away. It's blocked! It's blocked! It's picked up by the Eagles. Running with it is Davis. 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown! Game over! Jordan Davis.
Are you kidding me?
Blocked him again.
Are you kidding me?
Blocked him again. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Do you believe in miracles?
The Rams are standing silent. They can't believe what just happened to them. Successive field goal blocks. Winning for the Eagles. What a great, great game. What a great, great comeback. And the final score is 33-26.
It's the Vet Alumni Podcast. I'm Tek. He's Prem. And can you believe it? I mean, I'm throwing my hands up. I don't know if the Eagles will lose again.
Remarkable.
I mean, I'm not picking against them until they lose.
You know what's crazy
point.
about the field goal block return for a touchdown is almost exactly 20 years ago to the day that happened. I don't know if you remember, but the Drew Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson-led Chargers came to the link. It was T.O., Trott, Donovan, and Matt Ware picked up a Quentin Michael blocked field goal, took it to the house in the fourth quarter, put us up 20-17 late. We were losing 17-13. We were about to be down 20-13 late. Took it to the house in the fourth quarter almost 20 years ago to the day that happening. I was in attendance at that game.
Wow.
And as a matter of fact, only other time these birds have ever done 2 field goal blocks in one game in the same quarter was exactly 50 years ago to the day of that game against the Rams in 1975.
Unbelievable.
Look, you know me. I'm the eternal optimist. We go back and forth about we're the yin and the yang of optimism and pessimism. The truth is, I just felt like knowing that squad, I look at it like a coach. I just felt like there was a chance they could get back in it. Touchdown, stop, touchdown. And that's what they had to have. Like if you're playing Madden when you're a kid and you're getting smoked and you come back in the game. I was almost looking at like, all right, what would they have to do in Madden to get back in this?
Right, of course.
And it was fairy tale.
Yeah, it was.
Doesn't always happen that way.
Because we were both watching the game with our dads, right?
Yes.
I'm watching it with my dad, right? He came over, and we're watching it. And once we fumble to start off the second half, and they recover it, and they go right in. It's 26-7.
Yeah.
It's like he's like, it's over. It's over. I might as well get out of here. And
People left the stadium and did that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So the funny thing is, outwardly, in my heart, I also believed it was over. But I played the role with him like you do. I'm like, it ain't over yet. I mean, it's Jalen Hurts. They can still get
truly
back
it
into
wasn't because touchdown makes it a 12-point game with a whole half to go.
But I was trying to just talk him off the ledge.
I got
but
you.
I myself didn't believe it.
I know. I know.
I agreed with him wholeheartedly. 100%. I agreed with him that the game was over at that point. And
there's 30 minutes left in a football game with this group, man. That's a lot of time.
The big stop that gave us the ability to score to make it 26-14. At that point, I opened my eyes and said, it ain't over yet. Hold on.
Right.
And then when the defense had another huge stop, we go in again. As soon as they did that, I said, I don't know, Dad.
Because you got a 5-point game. 5-point game with a whole quarter to go.
And the defense was really doing their job. I mean, there's some things I don't love.
Sure.
But
there's something special about this team.
They were bend not break. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's why they won. That's really why they won.
Yeah.
When you force 6 field goal attempts, block 2 of them, and let 4 of them go in, you're going to win most of those.
The Rams
games.
were just destroying them in the run game, just running
I know.
all over.
Kyron Williams and Corum, they're some good running backs. I'll tell you what, the Rams, they could be trouble.
I actually thought Kyron Williams was a bit of a weakness coming into the game,
so
and
then
he
puts the ball on the ground historically.
Yeah, but I actually saw our edge rushers in the run game were ineffective.
It
wasn't
very
like
ineffective.
last year.
I know.
They were terrible, and it wasn't even just about Jalen and Jordan in the run game because like everyone's looking at Jalen and Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis in the run game, and they're like, well, they're not stopping the run. It's like, no, Ajomo didn't stop the run. Ajomo got obliterated in the run game,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't good.
It wasn't cohesive.
Good. No.
But like the thing is,
but when they needed a big stop, and by the way,
they got it. Yeah.
I don't want to compare it to the CeeDee Lamb drops or the Travis Kelce drop because we could be easily 0-2 if those go the other way. But fine. But I will say, I was perplexed throughout the game.
Yeah.
Why you're destroying us in short yardage situations, and every 3rd and 2, you're throwing long and then punting.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's very weird.
I just was looking at McVay going, dude, it's 2025. You're a young coach. You're like an innovative guy.
Right.
And like you can't that's why the Ravens look, the Ravens were getting dominated the line of scrimmage throughout the game. It wasn't as close as the score was on the field, but when the score is that close, you got to go for it on 4th down. You can't just say, "Oh, we'll punt it, and then we'll stop the Lions, and then they'll punt it back to us."
They tried
the
to
Lions
go.
are not punting it back.
Yeah, but the Rams tried to go for it on 4th down and got stuffed. They tried to run the ball and get it, and they couldn't get it. We didn't get points off
But
of
there
that.
were times throughout the first half where 19 points, they could have been up 4 touchdowns.
Well,
and really the game could have been over.
That's why we were in the game.
And they
that's,
chose
but
not
that's
to
what,
do it.
That's what this defense is, though, and. Really, and you look at that, and I see the Rams fans, losing their minds collectively online about the refs. Look, that game had bad calls and missed calls on both sides because that Davante Adams touchdown was not a touchdown. That was Reed Blankenship with blanket coverage. He's a strong dude, Reed. Getting clearly pushed back 5 yards so that there was separation.
You know why?
And when you saw that in slow motion, that's obvious. That's called all the time.
I didn't wig out on that because it also doesn't get called.
No,
at
the time I didn't either because at the time I thought, all right,
I saw AJ Brown
7-7, no big deal.
live doing that last year. So, like, when I saw it, and then he did it later, and then he didn't call.
That was acting.
True.
Homie jumped in. Look, first off, you're going to call anything on the AJ, it's illegal contact because that's after 5 yards, and they're tied up. It's that mutual tie-up till the ball comes, and then you get your hands out.
Right.
So, when AJ takes his hands off, sure, did he kind of push a little bit? You have to get your hands free to catch the ball. And but the guy flails his arms around like a big deal.
Davante Adams might have been a little, just a tad...
It was over the line. It
was closer to a shove than a push. Where AJ's was like a push, and like I understand why people are upset, but I wasn't upset. I looked
on
at
that type
call.
of throw, on the AJ type of throw, that's the type of play that happens on. Those guys are always tied up, almost like hugging until the ball on that type of play.
Right,
that's different than a go route.
Right, and Reed, because that is the route. Like once the corner gets beat at the line of scrimmage,
that was zone.
It becomes the safety. It becomes
that's passed off to Reed though.
Yeah, it's passed off to Reed. Reed's been bad in coverage this year. Like this is probably the worst.
But he saved the touchdown later.
He
in the
did
game
later.
He
later,
did.
But overall through 3 games, this is like the worst Reed Blankenship I've seen, and it's
but
surprising.
They're 3-0 in their preseason. This is their preseason.
It's surprising to me though because like Reed is in a like Jordan Davis contract year. You know what I mean?
I know. Clearly,
he's playing unbelievable.
Clearly,
Reed is also like in contract.
He's getting
mode.
Signed no matter what though.
I get it, but
he's
like to me.
Anywhere.
I saw something that like he could be getting paid sort of what Zach Bourne, like 14 or 15 million, and I'm like, yo, we gotta cool the Jets. Reed Blankenship's playing like a $7 million a year type of player.
It's too early to even make these determinations.
I get it, but
it's too early.
I'll preface it by saying through 3 weeks, he's playing like a
plus
$7 million
player. You're compensated for the fact that you really have been weak on the other side. The loss of Slay is noticeable. Someone's gonna have to step up in that role.
Adore's been okay.
They worked out Mike Hilton this week. I heard. Nothing came of it, but they worked him out.
I thought that was last week.
Yeah, whatever it was. I thought
nothing came of it.
Nothing came of it. So you never know. But I think they're taking the approach to all right. Let's let this thing develop a little bit. We're in our entering our fourth week of football now. We're still undefeated. And it's not like the sky isn't falling by any stretch.
Well, we just find out this week that we lost Nolan Smith.
It's a big loss.
That's a big. I think it's kind of a devastating loss.
I wouldn't say devastating.
I don't know. He's been kind of our best edge rusher.
He's got a high motor. He's obviously become what we thought he would be coming out of college. He's definitely not a weak link.
No, I wouldn't say he's a weak link. This makes me feel like I don't know if going forward he's the guy. I think
because of the injury prone.
He's injury prone every year.
Well, you're going to see Jahad Campbell. This is my hypothesis. You're going to see Jahad Campbell lined up in a natural edge role now.
You think so?
I think so.
I think they
because you got Dean coming back.
I think you see a little more Zadarius Smith and Jalix Hunt.
Well, I think they'll rotate. I think you're going to see Jahad in a natural pass rush formation more than you would.
Uche's been really good, so maybe you see Uche more, and you see Ojulari maybe.
I don't think that it's as bad as you think. I think that it's obviously Nolan Smith is a high motor, great player. He's turned into a great player. He's turned into an integral part of what Vic does.
Yeah.
But I think the defense as a unit is just so strong in what they do, like their philosophy. I don't think any one player, save for like if you lose Q or Coop, I don't think that any one player besides those guys in the secondary, because they're essential back there, I don't think it really is going to impact what they do, like the overall result that they get. I don't think it's going to be impacted as much because of the philosophy of this defense and the way Vic is able to plug dudes in. I feel like they'll be able to keep chugging, if you will.
And they catch a break. You know, they're going into Tampa where they routinely have not played well. If it's one team that they've played multiple times over the past several years that has a winning record on them, it's the Bucs.
Yeah, but they did go there 2 years ago and dominate.
Right. That was the one. I think they're 1-4 against Tampa Bay.
At that game.
Yes, you were there. That was the one win.
25-11.
Right. Well,
a weirder score than 41-33 is 25-11. Even weirder than 40-22. We've had some weird scores. Man.
Yeah. Look, they catch a break this week because
big time.
Yeah, Baker's banged up. He was limited in practice.
I smell a Baker pick 6 coming this week.
Really?
I can really smell it.
I like Baker.
Baker's
been really solid.
Yeah, but it's in
this
the
year.
air. I think it's Q. I think Q gets his first pick 6 of his career.
Really?
I think so.
Well, Mike Evans,
I think so.
he's
Bet the
out.
Eagles touchdown, defensive touchdown on your FanDuels.
I want to see it.
Put it in.
Mike Evans, he's out.
Huge.
It looks like they're going to get Godwin back, but he's not 100%, and he's been limited in practice also. In fact, I don't think he practiced at all yesterday.
Yeah, coming back to try to be at football speed right out the chute. I mean, that's not an easy endeavor. You got this Egbuka kid though.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like he could be another Nakua.
That's who I worry about.
He's another Nakua type player.
I feel like they got to be careful
there.
They're going to put Coop on him.
Nakua was unstoppable. I mean, he never drops.
That guy's crazy.
He's
you know who he
unstoppable.
reminds me of? He reminds me of a young Hines Ward.
Yeah, I mean,
Hines would catch everything and he was tough.
Yeah, I mean, Nakua, his hands are unreal.
Man. Wow.
He might have
he
the best
really is
pair
like
of
the
hands.
next Hines Ward to me.
Yeah,
he's not as stocky as Hines was, but he plays he's faster. He plays a similar style of game. The Rams, if we have to play them again in January, I'd be worried about that one. Now we don't know how each team's gonna look at the time, but it's hard to beat a team 4 times in a row when they hate you.
I view the Rams as a top 3 NFC team and a possible NFC championship team.
Oh, I agree with you, bro.
That's what I
agree with you.
When I'm looking at the Rams, that's what I saw.
Because they're only going to get better just like we're going to get better this year.
Right.
All these contending teams that you're seeing, even the Packers who just lost inexplicably to the Browns. The Browns defense, by the way, is top 5 personnel-wise.
Yes.
Their defense is really good. But even teams like the Packers, Birds, Rams, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Lions, all these front-running teams, they're really in their preseason right now.
Yeah.
They're going to keep, all of us are going to keep getting
with the
better
Packers,
and better and better and better.
And the Lions, myself included in this, it's like we got to pump the brakes on the Packers.
Yeah, we do.
And with the Lions, I said they would take a major step back this year. I got to pump the brakes on that. I did not.
But I still don't trust Jared Goff in a big playoff moment. Right. He's not the guy.
No, but
just like Dak isn't the guy in a big playoff moment.
No.
Lamar Jackson isn't the guy in a big playoff moment.
Lamar Jackson's not even the guy in big regular season moments right now.
He was horrible in that fourth quarter.
That was an embarrassing situation.
These guys, I'll get to this when we talk to Matt Hamilton about, situational football.
Yeah, Matt Hamilton will join us, FanDuel TV's
Absolutely.
own. I love having Matt on because he's inside the game.
Yeah, we'll talk to him about Jalen and situational football. And you led me to that point because Lamar, situationally, in that Lions game, he had every opportunity to go win that thing. for the Ravens in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And he was taking sacks like almost looked like bad Daniel Jones on the Giants.
Yes.
Is how he looked.
Yep.
It's inexplicable, but it's not because he's shown you that every year at some point or another.
He has.
In the big moments, the numbers are phenomenal, but he stat pads a lot.
Yes.
Lamar is a stat pad king.
He is. Look at the end of that game. That game was over. And
same against us last year.
He threw for like 100 yards and a touchdown at the end of that game.
And then everybody's posting like, "Oh, look at his numbers. It isn't Lamar."
He threw for 210 yards
max.
That's what he threw for.
And 2 TDs.
Anything after it on that last drive does not count. It's
I
all
know,
stat pad and all nonsense.
The Lamar stands.
Garbage time.
The Lamar stands hate our X account because
know.
I say everything we're talking about. I was going at some of the Lamar
It's a shame
stand
because
accounts.
I really liked Lamar for a long time, but he is just not that guy.
You know what it is? It's a character thing with him. He has like this high school energy.
He does. He does have
It's like
high school
a high
energy.
school energy. When they cut to him,
you
look
on
at the
that. I
difference
agree.
between Jalen Hurts on the field
Yeah.
and Lamar Jackson on the field. Not their talent level, not their throwing ability, just the energy, the atmosphere, the leadership. It is like a Corvette and an old Ford Escort.
Jalen watched Jordan Davis block that ball, pick it up,
He's
and
a
run it
psychopath.
61 yards.
He's a psychopath.
And didn't blink.
He's a psychopath.
That was psychopathic.
We need that though.
I know.
That's
It's
who
like-
we want.
It's like some,
Who else was psychopathic?
Craziness.
Michael Jordan was a psychopath.
I was about to say, that's the comparison.
Kobe Bryant was
He's
a
like Jordan.
psychopath.
Yeah, Kobe. Yeah.
These guys, and we say
I think
we
Jalen's
say it
even more of a
endearingly.
psychopath.
We say it endearingly.
Because I've seen Jordan celebrate if one of his teammates hit a big three.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Jordan,
yeah.
like Jalen.
John Paxson hit something. And
Yeah,
boom,
Jalen is just stone faced. I never seen anything like that. I was just like, man, the dude is for real.
It's phenomenal.
Ice
But he
in his
does
veins.
come out of his shell a bit sometimes.
After the game was over in the locker room, he did on the Monday Night Countdown when he popped in on Davis's interview with Maria. Yeah,
that was good.
That was really good.
Yeah, that's the kind of content we need. And I love that the Eagles media team is doing like these they're recapping plays in slow motion with like really good classic soul music.
Yes, and
it's
also
phenomenal content.
I saw like 4 or 5 different versions of like the NFL film style thing.
Yeah.
All of them are just fantastic.
You know, that kick was going wide left anyway. Did you see that view?
I didn't. Was it going to go wide left anyway? Because they seemed to know. Jordan was like, oh, we knew what his trajectory. We knew. It was like, really?
It was going wide left.
They knew the launch
If you can
angle.
find that, you can see that thing, there's no way that kick was going to be good. But it's
Just
better
tremendous.
to take it back for a touchdown.
Yeah, I know.
Way better.
Just so you guys know on a programming note, we're going to get back to the Phils next week because that's when the playoffs will begin.
Yeah, at this point, look, we know what they are. They're going to win
Yeah.
more games probably than they have since 2011. Everything looks like it's on track. Guys have had better second halves than we kind of expected them to have.
I certainly don't want to neglect the Phils at all. I think
we need to. It's going to be the Dodgers. I'm standing by that. I think no matter who the Dodgers play, it's Philly, LA. Now, just for real quick, we're 13-9 historically against them in the playoffs, which is good. That's across all the eras, of course. So it's an arbitrary thing, but it still matters. And we've won 7 of the last 10 against the Dodgers, 4 of 6 this year. So for those reasons, I like it. For those reasons, but their starting pitching is pretty good.
The starting pitching is good. I'm worried about the bullpen. I'm worried about bats going cold. But
that's the only potential issue.
Those are the things right there: the bullpen and the bats going cold. But there's no reason to be Debbie Downer. I think that if the bats go cold and the bullpen does what they did the last week, they could be one and done. Now, I certainly hope they are not.
I don't think against the Dodgers
they
would be.
Going.
I think if they're out, I think it was the NLCS. I think if they do lose this playoffs, I feel like it's in an NLCS, but it might not be the Brewers. I have a feeling that the Phils will end up with home field throughout, and that includes the World Series. They have the second best record in all of baseball.
If that's the case, then my take would change.
I think that the Brewers
might
might be knocked out by like a team like the Cubs or the Padres.
If that happens, then I feel good about the Phillies going all the way and potentially winning it because I don't think anybody in the American League is strong enough to win this thing.
But the Brewers are historically, no matter the era, they're just not October performers.
That could be different this year, but I hear you.
I'll have to see it before I believe it with the Brewers.
I agree with you.
That's just a city that doesn't know how to win in the postseason.
Yeah, consistently. Like
they
the
lost
Padres.
in the 82 World Series, and they haven't been back since.
Yeah.
I think it's Phil's Mariners in the World Series.
Mariners.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think it's Schwarber versus Raleigh in the World Series.
That would be.
Can you imagine?
All eyes on that. Yeah,
that's what MLB wants, or Yanks Phils because of the history. It'd be the third time.
I hate playing the Yankees.
Me too. But wouldn't it be so good to beat them in our third World Series time? Because they beat us, they swept us.
It would be great if we have home field advantage.
They swept us in 1950.
Yeah.
The Whiz Kids.
If we had home field advantage, that would be the best. Yeah, we would
have it. I mean, no matter who we play in the World Series, we got home field.
Is that the case now already? The Toronto with a Toronto?
We're a couple games ahead of the best American League team record. So they still got to win 2 out of 3 against the Twins, I would say, to comfortably hold that. But I think they clinched that with maybe even one more win. They clinched that home field in the World Series. No matter
that against Minnesota this weekend.
I don't believe in the Brewers. I think they get knocked out by the Cubs or the Padres in that first round.
All right.
Or the second round, technically.
Well, we'll talk about the Phils more next week. We'll let the Birds get their moment. It brings me to the Tek 10.
Here we go.
It's the Tek 10.
All right. This week, number 10, the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. All right.
I'm not all in on them, but I like them more than the Vikings or the Steelers. And
the Vikings are dropping fast. That arrow's down.
So I'm going and
although Carson Wentz didn't do much, but they blew out.
Yes, they
Who
did.
They play. They blew them out.
I don't know.
Bengals.
That
was a bad pick in the Prem's pick segment.
Yes, and I like the Seahawks over the 49ers right now. I think the 49ers are a
fraud.
You're
a Sam Darnold enthusiast.
Look, I don't know if they'll remain.
Kenny Walker's good.
In my top 10.
Kenny Walker's a good
yes,
linebacker.
He is.
He's really good.
But they're 10
Okay,
this
number
week.
10. All right.
Number 9, a plummet. The Green Bay Packers at 9.
Well, when you blow a 10-point lead with 4 minutes to go against the Browns, there's no excuse.
No excuse.
If the Birds did that, can you imagine how the sky would be falling right now?
Yes, it's right, exactly, and it should pump the brakes on the Packers, people.
9's kind of low though.
9. Look, they plummeted.
I'd have them at 6.
I hear you. They probably deserve to be there, but I'm making a statement with it.
I like it.
Number 8, the Colts. I got to put the Colts there. Daniel Jones is playing well.
I think that's the right spot for the Colts.
And I like what they're doing. Number 7, Commanders are still here.
Daniels will be back this week. I think he's been practicing.
Yep, and they're a good team. Number 6. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers land here.
They'll plummet after this game next week.
I probably.
They might be out of your top 10 next week.
They're there because of their quarterback.
Bucs ahead of the Packers.
And their defense. Yeah, this week.
Okay, yeah, these are weekly rankings.
This is week to week. This will change.
And for our listeners, it's important that you know that these are volatile rankings.
Very volatile. These could change tomorrow. All right. So, all right, number 5, dropping from one spot from last week. Actually, they're dropping a spot. It's the Rams.
Well, they deserve because when you blow a 19-point lead, I don't care where or who you're playing.
Right.
That's horrible.
It's horrible.
That's horrible.
Number 4, taking a leap 4 spots. I mean, I would say it's deserved too. Is the Detroit Lions? I just feel like
the Ravens are out of your top 10.
Oh, the Ravens are out of the top 10. The Ravens are out of my top 10 this week.
And you got the Lions at 4.
I mean, they just have a losing record. It was so bad of a loss. They got so dominated at that line of scrimmage pretty much the entire game, despite the back and forth scoring.
So if the Ravens are all right, so then you got 3-2-1. All right, go ahead. Number 3.
Number 3 is the Chargers. They move up 2 spots.
Okay, then you're going Bills, Birds. Okay,
I'm going Bills at number 2,
and then Birds,
and Birds at number 1.
Until the Birds lose, they can't be supplanted.
That's what it is. Look, the Eagles go up 2 spots. The Bills stay the same at 2.
Right.
The Eagles jump up from 3 to 1. And
when you have the biggest home comeback since 1988.
If I was basing it off of the way they actually played, they'd probably still be at 3. But the bottom line is, because the way they played in the second half, the way they won that game, they're going to be number 1 until they lose.
I think they finished the season 15-2.
That would be.
I think that's
amazing.
That's I honestly thought
they beat a 1 seed.
I thought that 2-1 at this point would have been possible. I forget in our season preview show. I think I had them at 8-1 in our season preview show.
I kind of thought they'd be 2-2 after week 4.
After 4, yeah.
And
now they're looking at 4-0 because I look at the Bucs and they are a good football team, very talented football team. They're going to be at home. It's going to be extremely hot. But there's something about this Birds team that you just feel like this year, with them being pretty much fully healthy, Lane Johnson only had a stinger. Lane's coming back. You feel like they're going to go down there and they're just going to handle business. It might be a little ugly. They might only win like a 24-20 game again like they did against the Cowboys. But I feel like they're just going to find a way to get to 4-0 and then come home and play a good Broncos team.
I think you're right.
I think that's what it is.
And the Broncos team, it's going to be a tough game, too.
It is, but I think, Nix is kind of careless with the ball. I've seen this kid throw some horrible interceptions. The defense, our defense really is just truly the X factor in a lot of these games. Even games where Jalen starts slow, kind of like the old McNabb teams, he would have horrible first halves, but the Jim Johnson's defense would just keep us in the game. Like it's kind of like that again.
Yeah.
It hasn't been like that since the Jim Johnson defenses.
True.
But that's kind of like what it is. Like the offense could be sputtering, and maybe they only put up 7 or 10 points in the first half.
It's like the old Patriots teams, man. Like those, the Patriots used to. They would be a game against like the Jets, and they would look horrendous.
I know.
And the score would be like 31 to like 10.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Brady, they're going down.
Right.
And then you tune out and you focus on another game or the Eagles or something, and you look back. And it's like 34-31 Patriots.
Well, that Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl where they were down 28-3 is a great example.
Yeah. This is what they did, and they did it ugly. Yeah. It wasn't always in style. They didn't win with style. And they just did what they had to do. Brady was a winner, and he did what he had to do. And that's what Jalen is right now.
Yeah.
That's what Jalen's doing.
Yeah.
All right. Now, brought to you by the Fairless Hills Academy of Music, it's time for VetPhact.
This is a VetPhact.
Well, Tek, you'd be surprised to know that the Eagles never in their history won a game at the Vet on September 26th. I checked every single Eagles season played at the Vet. September 26th, they never won a game. So in the spirit of the LA Rams coming to Philly, September 28th, 1986, Buddy Ryan's Birds would come into the game 0-3. And the Los Angeles Rams and Eric Dickerson would come into the game 3-0. However, the Birds would steamroll to a 27-0 halftime lead.
Woo!
En route to a 34-20 game, which really those 20 points for the Rams were mop up late in the game. Because at one point in this game, heading into the fourth quarter, Tek, it was 34-6. So they had 14 meaningless points in the end. I mean, this was a good Rams team. This was an era where, again, you had Eric Dickerson 2 years removed from his 2,000-yard year. Ron Jaworski kind of in the tail end of his Birds tenure. I think this was his last year with the Birds, 86.
Wow.
He was 17 for 27 for 213 yards and 3 touches. This is a very interesting thing about this game. When I looked at this box score, Tek, I was kind of blown away. 4 different Eagles players threw passes, and 4 different Eagles players caught touchdown passes.
Wow.
So you had Jaworski, Randall Cunningham, Matt Cavanaugh, and you'll remember the famous Keith Byers 55-yard halfback toss and pass touchdown.
Yes.
That was this game. Keith Byers with his 55-yard touchdown is perfect. 158.3 quarterback rating. He also added 17 totes for 78 yards. And he was complimented again by a great day from our guy Mike Quick, 4 catches for 82.
Hell yeah.
And he was the one that was on the receiving end of that 55-yard from Keith Byers for the touchdown. Our guy Kenny Jackson caught a touchdown, 3 for 77. John Spagnola caught a touchdown, 4 for 48. You had an interception by, rest in peace, Andre Waters.
Oh, yeah.
Had an interception,
Tremendous.
returned her for 15 yards. Just an all-around fun day to be at the Vet for the fans in attendance. It was a 1 o'clock kickoff. I don't know what the weather was. The recap doesn't say it, but on this day, Buddy Ryan's defense was just suffocating as they shut the Rams out and held them to 6 points only through 3 quarters, shutting them out through the half. Quarterback Steve Dills for the Rams, 15 of 26 for 164, 2 meaningless fourth quarter touchdowns to pad his stats. He really only had 1 when you shake it all out. They held Eric Dickerson to 17 rushes for 58 yards.
Wow.
Dickerson in his prime.
That's the key.
That's the key right there. On that day, the Birds would get their first win, and man, was it needed. September 28th, 1986, 34-20 over L.A.
There it is. The red light is blinking. Matt Hamilton from FanDuel TV is waiting. We're going to hit the vet line right now.
And now, it's the Vet Line.
Why don't you answer your phone?
Joined now on the vet line by Matt Hamilton. Of course, he's the on-air producer for Up and Adam with Kay Adams.
Yes, sir.
Matt, thanks for coming back on the show.
Appreciate you guys having me. Always love hopping on. And, shoot, I don't think I've ever talked to you guys. You know, usually there's a little turmoil going on when you guys have me on the show. I mean, everything's rolling right now.
It's rolling.
Yeah, well, it was, they had a flat tire for a bit.
Oh, yeah,
hit
a bump in the road,
The Rams had a lot of juice coming in, and understandably so. I mean, Nick Sirianni has owned Sean McVay. The Rams, when you look at the franchise, they had come in here losing 9 of their last 10 to the Eagles, regardless who the players were, regardless who the coaches were. So I think they were really fired up. They showed it, but this team just finds a way to win. Now, I want to ask you, Matt, as a guy that covers the entire league, you're always talking national topics. You talk about all the squads, coaches, players, small teams. What do you think the reason is that Jalen Hurts is still not looked at generally most of the time as, an elite winning quarterback, an elite quarterback? What do you think the real reason for that is at this point?
I don't know if it's because the numbers don't always wow you or because he has the supporting cast that he has, but it doesn't really make sense anymore. Because when you look at it, it's like, okay, you think the formula to beat the Eagles, right? You take away Saquon, you make them have to throw. That's kind of the book on like what you can do to try to beat them. Well, we saw that happen in the Super Bowl, and what happened when Spags took away the ground game. We saw last week. You make them play from behind. You take away Saquon. You did both those things, and you still can't beat them because when he had to throw, when he had to put the game on his shoulders, what did he do? He was damn near perfect in that second half. So I don't fully get it. I guess they run a lot of RPOs. Great. Yeah, a lot of what he does is the big plays are outside the numbers. Great. Like, he runs this offense as well as you can possibly run it. He makes all the throws he has to make. He's a freaking winner. He gets better every year. And I don't know why people still want to pick him apart. I don't get it.
Yeah, situationally, he might be up there with Mahomes in terms of just the best situational quarterback play.
Absolutely.
One thing about Jalen, it's when they absolutely have to have it, he just finds a way to get it. And it is kind of, even for me, we've been supporters of Jalen since day one, it is kind of head-scratching sometimes. I want you to tell me what you think it is, Matt. I think it has to do with what I call the pride of the take. And the pride of the take is when you initially have a take on somebody, and then it turns out to be monumentally wrong, you will do and say things to like refit that into your original take any way you can. Like Nick Wright is a good example. This guy is clown central when it comes to Jalen Hurts. I don't want to go at individuals like that, but just to make my point, do you think that the pride of the take is a real thing in sports commentary?
Oh, absolutely. You see it happen in sports media, I think, all the time, where guys just get dug in, and no matter what happens, they're not willing to see the light or see it another way. And I'll be honest, I'll say it right now. Like, I remember watching Jalen Hurts as a freshman at Alabama, and I'm like, this guy is going to be the thing that holds his team back from winning. Like, he's the weak link on the team. But I will say this. Think he was at that time. I think he has worked his ass off, and he's the reason he's the quarterback he is right now, because of his work ethic, because of his mentality. If you really go back and look at it year after year, going back to Alabama, every single year of his career from college to the pros, he has gotten better and better. And that is all the work that he's put in. It's all a credit to him. He has gotten so much more consistent as a passer. When you really go back and watch those Alabama teams, he is a totally different player from what he is now. But again, that's what happens with players. That's why you can't be so set in a take, because guys improve, they get better, they work hard. And that's the thing with him. Like, the guys, he's one of those guys you can really tell the work he put in on his craft, because he was on such a national stage at such a young age. Like, it's not often that we get to follow guys from their freshman year and really just see the growth. And you've really seen it with him. And it's all a credit to him. And he's pretty, by the time he got to Oklahoma, you could see he was a totally different guy than he was at Alabama. And that's when I was like, oh shit, like he's legit. He's an NFL quarterback. But you have to be willing to see the growth in people and admit when you're wrong, because we are all wrong from time,
right.
from time to time about players. Because again, you never know how a guy's going to develop or what he's like off the field, or what goes in. And again, having worked in the scouting world, that's why the background stuff is so friggin' important. The character stuff is so important, because that's what's going to ultimately determine which guys have success in the league and which guys flame out.
Yeah, and which guys might end up in like a Spitgate type of incident, for example. Which is why it's important. Now, and like anticipating trajectory of a player. That's what I think a lot of guys in the media maybe fail to master the art of that. Some guys are good at it and they'll adjust. But on to Sunday, Tampa Bay, great game, 3-0 teams. What's your take on this one?
Yeah, I think right now, the Eagles are getting the Bucs at the best possible time with some of the injury issues going on. I mean, Baker not really being able to practice this week is interesting to me. Obviously, Mike Evans is out. They might be getting Tristan Wirfs and Godwin back, but the net of all that, I don't think either way you're not getting the Bucs at their best. And this is a team that's played the Eagles tough over the years. Mm-hmm. It's actually crazy. I was thinking back to it, knowing I was coming on here with you guys. I was thinking back to the last time I was on it. It was right after that Bucs game last year.
Oh, right.
And I remember us talking about it, and and we talked about how a lot of it was the injuries on the Eagles side, and I was not, I remember talking you guys down off the ledge a little bit. I didn't think they were going to win literally every single game for the rest of eternity after that. But it's I think that had a lot to do with that game last year. The injuries were just absolutely brutal that game. But this is a team that always does play Philly tough. I think they'll give Philly a tough game, but with the injuries the Bucs are dealing with, I do think the Eagles take this one double digits.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I think it's possible. I can see why you come to that conclusion with our defense.
The Eagles lost Nolan Smith this week.
Yeah.
I consider that to be
it's pretty big.
A disastrous injury. I mean, only because I feel like the weakest part of the defense, despite everybody, hating the second cornerback, he's actually been okay in the last couple games.
It's
Adoree'
been
Jackson.
serviceable. Well, he's injured now, right?
But he's back. He practiced this week.
Right,
He'll play.
Right.
But the pass rush has been.
But situationally, it's been pretty good though. When they need the pressure, they've been getting it.
They get pressure. I just feel like Nolan Smith has been one of our best guys.
Yeah, you'll see Uche more. I'm not mad at
and maybe Jalix Hunt more, because Jalix Hunt and Zadarius Smith.
Zadarius Smith's been impressive so far.
Yeah. And Jalen Carter is going to have to step up. Matt, Jalen Carter, the rap locally, look, we love him. We recognize he's our best player on defense, or one of them, even though we're coming off of the Jordan Davis game. Nationally, do you think he gets a bad rap? I mean, he's not a bad kid. He's just kind of an idiot. I mean, but nationally, It's like they talk about him like this kid. He's a menace.
He's like the next Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, they treat him like Sue. Do you get that feeling about Jalen Carter, or do you just feel like he's a dumb kid who's just got to grow up a little bit?
Yeah, I think I lean more towards the kid that has to grow up a little bit. I was around Sue when I was working in Detroit.
Oh, wow.
So it was different because, I don't think he's not saying that Sue's a bad guy either. Sue just had this switch that would flip, and it was a little scary,
he's
aggressive,
barbaric.
That type. I don't see that from Jalen Carter. I think he got caught up in the moment with Dak and whatever, and that happening on national TV the first game of the year, that's going to get you a reputation, and again, as it should a little bit. You can't do that stuff. He's not stomping on people's necks. He's not, I remember the first game I ever saw Sue. It was when I was at Missouri student coach. We were playing at Nebraska, and he was young. He was like a sophomore, And I did, you didn't really know the name yet, but he had this like little 5'6" running back. He tackles him on the sideline and spits in his face while he's on the ground, like right in front of me. Like stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, but again, I saw a lot of things out of him over the years in practice and all that stuff that, it was a pattern. Like, you don't see a pattern from Jalen Carter, like, other than, as you said, just like some dumb stuff. There's nothing like malicious intent to injure type stuff out of him.
It's like in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's got to clean it up.
He's got to clean it
I
up.
mean, one of those 15-yarders could cost the game.
I know. That brings me to, what do you think about the taunting call in the NFL today? I mean, I just think it's nonsense.
It's a bit more ticky-tacky. Puka got hit with one. We got hit with one.
You're not allowed to celebrate when you do something?
No, you can't in the direction of a guy. Isn't that the way it is, Matt?
I guess.
Can't be in the direction.
Yeah. I think it's gotten too much. Like this emphasis on it is a little too much for me. I get what they're trying to do. I get you want to take some of the disrespectful stuff out of the game. I get that, but it's football. The emotions run high. Guys get fired up. Things happen. You can't make those calls in crucial moments of games, and we've seen it a couple of times cost teams points, and it's just you don't want to see games come down to things like that, and key moments of games come down to things like that, because again, a big part of football is a big part of what people love about football is the emotions, the highs and lows, and all that stuff that draws people to the game, and I don't want to see that get cut out.
No,
yeah, I agree. I didn't. The Puka one I thought was a little weak, and that's
I thought it was weak
as a Birds fan, even.
Yeah,
it's because he flexed in his direction. That's why.
But you can clearly see on the replay he was looking like towards the crowd, towards the end zone. He was looking.
His eyes were on him. His head was away, but his eyes were on him, and that's why they called it.
Okay.
I don't like it though.
All right.
I mean, I agree with Matt. I think you're getting fired up. You make a big grab.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of like a reflection of society as a whole now. Everybody's offended by everything is offending.
I hear you.
I don't know,
They're
man.
trying to crack down on
different
it,
conversation.
I get it, but yeah, I hear you. They're putting an emphasis on sportsmanship. I feel like it's just a little too far. It's not turmoil right now for us.
No.
There is a big conversation, and it's ongoing, and it's now in its second week, especially after this last game, about the offense. And I'd say it's split, but it really feels like it's like 70-30. The fans are in an uproar about the offense and the passing game in particular.
The uneducated fans.
And Kevin Patullo, and they're going a little far with this, but I want to get your take. What they did in that second half, and you could argue they did what they did in the second half because they're down 19, and they had to do what they did in the second half. But will they pick up where they left off in that half to start this game, as opposed to like being conservative, starting slow? How do you see them coming out offensively?
I think you have to pick up where you left off. Obviously not to that extreme because you're not trailing the way that you did. But I mean, when Jalen is saying stuff about it that he wants to open it, you don't hear a word out of him that's even bordering on questioning his coaching ever. And when he's saying he wants to keep this opened up, he wants to let it rip a little bit more in the post game. Obviously AJ is going to say it, but like when you hear that from Jalen, like lean into it. And again, they're facing the third most stacked boxes in the league right now. Teams are trying to take away Saquon. We all know it. We all see it. Take advantage of it. You have the numbers advantages in the passing game. And then it's just going to help out your run game that much more, because eventually with the talent the Eagles have at receiver and with what Jalen is able to do, you have to respect it. You have to start backing off a little bit if they're going to take that approach. And it's going to open things up for Saquon and this run game. Because, again, like it's one thing if the run game is working. Like last year, there were points where I'm like, why is everybody, complaining about the passing game? Because when you're running for 250 yards a game and you're winning every game, it doesn't matter. But so far this year, the run game's been slow. I mean, Saquon's averaging 2.5 yards per carry fewer than he did last year. Like you can't just beat your head against the wall and keep trying to do the same thing, especially when you have a passing game that's capable of doing what we saw on Sunday. So I absolutely think they should open it up more. You still want balance, but let this thing rip a little bit, and it's only going to help the run game more.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that it's kind of like an evolution of this version of the Eagles offense, because now defense is coming in. They're going to be a little more uncertain about the looks they're being shown.
Yeah.
Whereas traditionally, maybe this look was, we know this is just going to Saquon and a gap or whatever. Now it could look the same way, but it's a play action and you're going on a deep comeback to AJ on the side or whatever it is. I think it's a great evolution, and I'm glad that they trailed like they did and had to do that, because that can trigger what we're talking about and just the character of that win. Matt, let me ask you, I know you've been around football your whole life. You've worked for many different teams and you're in the coaching world and everything. Have you ever seen 2 blocked field goals in a fourth quarter?
Man, not that I remember.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. Matter of fact,
no, it was unbelievable. And you mentioned the character of the team. Like when Kay and I do our production meetings, we were talking about this, and I said it's like, in my lifetime, it reminds me of those teams, like those prime Tom Brady Patriots teams, and like what we saw from the early part of the Chiefs dynasty.
Absolutely.
It's just they're going to find a way, no matter what you take away from them, no matter what you do, no matter what situation you put them in. They are one of these teams that transcends it all and finds a way. And we can even go across sports. We've seen those teams in the NBA, the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, whatever else you want to say. Like, they are one of these. They have turned into one of these teams that is legendary and can find a way to get things done. It's just those teams are few and far between, but I think we're seeing one of them now in this Eagles team.
I completely agree with you.
Yep.
Now they just have to go back to a bowl and win another one in the next 2 years, I would say. So before we let you go, Matt, I'm going to give you the Birds' next 6 football games, and I want you to tell me what their record out of those 6 will be. So we know we got the Bucs on Sunday, and the Broncos at home, Giants in New York, Vikings in Minnesota, Giants in Philly, Packers on Monday night at Lambeau. That's the next 6 games. What is the Birds' record coming out of these next 6, just over the next 6 games?
Part of me wants to say 8-1 because it's just hard to keep ripping off wins like this.
Yeah. I think so too. I think they catch one L in that mix. Probably.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's going to be anybody, it's probably going to be Green Bay. If it's going to be anybody.
Yeah, I think it's either Denver or Green Bay. Denver is tricky.
Denver coming. Yeah.
They haven't put it together yet, which is a little surprising. They've been off to a really slow start, but they have the pieces to put something interesting together. And that defense is, again, the defense hasn't looked as good as I think it can be yet. But the players they have there, we saw it in spurts during that Chargers game when Nick Benito gets going. And
it was a good game.
Surtain is, I think they have the potential to give the Eagles some issues. But other than that, they'll roll through everybody else. And then that Packers game is going to be just... that's the game of the year. I don't think I've ever there's any regular season game I'm looking forward to more than that one, because obviously the off the field stuff and the storylines and what the Packers spearheaded with the push and all that. Like, it's
I know
they got to come out. They got to come out in that game and run a tush push first play, right? Like,
Well,
first and 10.
I want to see.
First play.
Yeah, I want to see the tush push. I want to see more. Fake, and then you let the tight end slip into the seam and hit them quick for 6 plays. I want to see that more.
Oh, yeah.
If you're in midfield and you have everybody bunched up and Jalen just kind of does his little step in and then step back thing, and you got Dallas Goedert all by himself, or you got whatever, AJ slips out and he's all by himself. I think they could hit for 6 on something like that.
I do too. They don't do that enough.
Absolutely.
Because everybody's going to sell out. On that. Lastly, Jackson Dart, how you feel about the kid?
I like him. I'm always pro sitting quarterbacks, letting them develop as long as possible.
Yeah.
But I think with where that Giants organization is right now, and just the doom and gloom and just how bad Russell looked the other night. I mean, the last straw for me, you see a quarterback throw a ball off the crossbar on 4th and goal. You're not playing for me again. Like as somebody who coaches quarterbacks,
Right,
especially, like if one of my kids did that, he's coming out of the game. Like you got to give your guys a chance to make a play. Like that was an egregious sequence.
Yes, it was.
So I think it's they got to get some positivity going. It's going to be tough against that Chargers defense and Jesse Minter, but I like the kid. I think he's got a lot of talent. I think he's going to fit what Brian Dable wants to do really well. He's going to give Malik Neighbors chances to make plays down the field. It's going to be a learning curve for him. I don't expect it to be amazing right away, but I think he's got the tools to be a really good quarterback in this league.
Yeah, and he's got some moxie. The kid definitely has some moxie. It's been a while since the Giants had a quarterback with some moxie.
He plays like Jalen. He reminds me of Jalen.
Yeah, I think he's going to be good. I think it's entering in a zone here in the next coming years where you have some really good young quarterbacks in the NFC East again, finally, all 4 teams. With Dak Prescott, I guess the jury's out on what he's going to end up being.
Yeah.
I think if Dak's ever going to win a Super Bowl...
I knew that was coming when you said that.
Well, I had no choice. I think if Dak's ever going to win a Super Bowl, he's going to have to do it like Matthew Stafford did, where he leaves Dallas and goes to a team that is just truly a quarterback away without an 87-year-old dinosaur calling the shots.
I agree.
And it's great. Think about that statement when, like, we were growing up. If you ever thought you'd say that a quarterback or someone would have to leave the Cowboys in order to have a chance at winning. It's unbelievable where we've come.
Yeah, I mean,
that's where we're at.
Because Tony Romo, I mean, he had teams that could have won Super Bowls. I could say that, but they just always found a way to lose.
Yeah,
whether it was Tony Romo dropping an extra point. Yeah,
Dak had a few great teams and found ways to lose on the big stage.
Remarkable, man, remarkable. Well, Matt, we always appreciate your time and your insight. For our listeners, obviously, it goes without saying, Up and Adams Show, find it on FanDuel TV.
Tremendous. Tune in regularly.
It's some of the best football content you can find.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, when we talk to you again, we're 2-time defending Super Bowl champions.
We shall see.
I always appreciate you guys having me on. This is always a blast.
That's Matt Hamilton from FanDuel TV. We got picks.
We sure do.
All right, let's hit it.
It's time for Prem's Picks.
These games are a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your children's unborn children on these games.
Prem's Picks.
Well,
Where we
Tek,
at?
I missed another 2-1 week because the Broncos got walked off by a Chargers last-second field goal that was not blocked.
It wasn't
so
blocked.
Because of that, I had a 1-2 week instead of a 2-1 week.
Right.
The Colts beat the Titans. That was my win. The Bengals did not beat the Vikings.
No, they did
not. I completely underestimated Jake Browning, and I will never do that again. And like I just mentioned, the Broncos lost a heartbreaker to the Chargers. So It's okay. Right above water or at water, water's edge at 3-3 through 2 weeks. And here are week 4's NFL locks.
Locks.
We talked about it already. We talked about it with Matt. We talked about it prior to having him on. I think the Birds beat the Bucs. In week 2, I gave you the Birds over the Chiefs, and it happened. And I'm giving you as my first pick, Jalen and them boys, when they all suit up. Jalen, Saquon, DeVonta, and AJ, they have not lost. They've won a Super Bowl together when they all play and finish a game before they've lost a game together. I don't think that changes. 18-0, Tek, together.
Yeah, it's true.
They haven't lost.
No.
It's mind-blowing.
It is.
And it's not going to happen on Sunday. Birds go down. Matt said double digits. I think it's more like a 27-20 or a 24-17 type of game.
Yeah.
In the heat down there, I think that we do control the clock a bit. TOP will win. Baker, first pick 6 for Q in his career. Comes off Baker Mayfield this Sunday. Give me the Birds over the Bucs in Tampa.
Lock.
Interesting one on the schedule here, Tek. You got an AFC South battle, the 0-3 Texans and the 0-3 Titans. Cam Ward, obviously, rookie quarterback. We don't really know yet what he's going to be. But he has to go to Houston to play a pretty desperate Texans team.
That just cut CJGJ, by the way.
I saw that.
We didn't talk about it, but yeah.
We didn't talk about it.
It happened.
That's the eyebrow raiser.
It is.
Howie's already talked to him. I'm sure they've already texted, I'm sure.
Maybe.
Or at least some of the players. I think the Texans get the win. I think they get their first win. The Titans are walking into kind of a storm type of situation. I could be wrong. The AFC South is wild, but the 0-3 Texans, the 0-3 Titans in Houston, I feel like it sounds like C.J. Stroud is just going to be the better quarterback in a situation like that. So give me the Texans in a 1 o'clock Sunday kickoff on CBS in Houston.
Lock.
Lastly, Tek, we're going back to a team that has been a part of 2 of my 3 weeks picking, the Denver Broncos, going up against the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football at Mile High, coming off that heartbreaking loss to the Chargers. We know they're a better football team. The Bengals are 2-1, Broncos are 1-2. I think that Nix does enough to get the win at Mile High. Jake Browning, again, it was horrendous against the Vikings. He was actually not bad the week before that. But I think the Broncos get the W on Monday Night Football at Mile High and get to 2-2 just prior to making the trip to Lincoln Financial Field.
There it is. Is that a lock?
That's a lock.
Lock.
So to recap, Tek, we got the Eagles over the Bucs in 100-degree Tampa Bay on Sunday.
Lock.
Texans at home to get their first win over the Titans.
Lock.
And the Broncos under the Monday Night Lights with Troy Aikman in attendance to beat the Bengals.
Lock.
This has been the 3rd edition of Prem's 2025 NFL Picks.
And with that, this is another big one, another big game.
It is. It's a statement game.
I believe
this
so.
is a statement game for these guys.
All right, go Birds. We will see you next week.
Vet Alumni.